What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. It's time for two big title defenses as AEW Interim World Champion Jon Moxley puts the belt on the line against Brody King, and Scorpio Sky defends the TNT Championship against Wardlow in a street fight. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Dynamite, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including bad news for Bryan Danielson, an indie show featuring former WWE superstars is a disaster, Bianca Belair warns creepy fans, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. Now, as always, we won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, Wardlow wins. At long last, championship gold. Wardlow's TNT Championship win couldn't have come soon enough. In some ways, he doesn't need a title, but at the same time, his career needed something to show the fans that AEW is clearly behind him. Wardlow did what he does best, destroying his opponents and taking no prisoners as he powerbombed his opponent to oblivion. Scorpio Sky never had a chance, but thanks to the street fight stipulation, AEW was able to add some suspense to the match as Dan Lambert's crew did their best to take out Wardlow. Well, spoiler alert, it wasn't good enough. The TNT Championship was a good start, but Wardlow needs a World Championship around his waist because he's the type of homegrown star capable of taking AEW to new heights rather than relying on former WWE superstars. Number 2, an acclaimed face turn coming. It looks like the acclaimed will be faces soon based on the Gun Club taking them out last night after Billy Gunn's sons got into another argument with Max Caster and Anthony Bowen, and Papa Ass decided to side with his sons. Max Caster has been over for some time as the fans love his pre-match raps regardless of who he's wrestling. However, Max is about more than spitting bars as he and Anthony Bowens make a solid team. A feud with the Gun Club could be interesting as it may be Colton and Austin's last chance to show they're more than Billy Gunn's kids but a talented team in their own right. Number 3, rest in peace Daddy Ass Scissoring. I would like a moment of silence as we acknowledge the end of Daddy Ass Scissoring. If you don't know what we're talking about, well, the less said the better. But if you do, you know this was a sad night in wrestle crap history. Number 4, nobody gives a shit department. AEW has a fantastic tag team division, whether it's the company's top teams like the Young Bucks and FTR or mid-card acts like the Acclaim. However, when it comes to the AEW Tag Team Championship, nobody gives a shit about the three-way match between Team Taz, Swerve and Lee and the Young Bucks for the Bucks tag titles. Nobody thinks Team Taz or Swerve in Our Glory is coming out of the match with the tag belts. The only thing fans wanted to see in AEW's tag division is FTR versus the Bucks. Now, we understand a big match deserves the right booking, but next week's three-way match is a waste of time and will do nothing for any of the three teams competing. Number 5, Brody King down but not out. Speaking of predictable, last night's title defense by AEW Interim World Champion Jon Moxley against Brody King was nonetheless a good match as Brody King looked strong in defeat. King is a monster and Moxley fought him smartly, much as he did when he defended the AEW World Championship against the late great Mr. Brody Lee, brawling to soften him up but winning with the Bulldog choke. It was the only strategy that made sense without making King look soft. Is King a future world champion? Well, probably not, but last night's match suggested he's a contender no champion should underestimate. Number 6, Christian cuts close to home. Did Christian Cage cross the line with his promo on Matt and Jeff Hardy? Well, that's a question fans are raging over social media and one that we want to analyze. Christian Cage's latest promo shows why Captain Charisma hasn't lost a step at being a complete ass. Cage called out Matt Hardy for being someone looking to cash in on someone else's clout, naming Jungle Boy and worse Jeff Hardy. Cage mocked Jeff's latest troubles but stated Matt is even worse of a person. It was a harsh promo and fans have justifiably raised the question how using Jeff's personal problems in a promo is any different in AEW than it is in WWE. I would like to argue that it's too early to tell, but it's worth noting that the WWE took things to ridiculous lengths with Jeff's opponents knocking his drinking. This included the angle where he was kayfabe arrested for allegedly running Elias over and later a bar fight match with King Corbin. AEW is walking a fine line here and some fans may feel the segment belongs in our bad section, but what do you guys think? But that was a good. What about the bad is number 1, an endless feud. The Jericho Appreciation Society vs Blackpool Combat Club with special guest Eddie Kingston feud has officially jumped the shark as AEW is trying to milk more out of the once white-hot feud after last week's Blood and Guts match. Although there's plenty of talent on both sides, how do you top a feud in a double cage? If AEW wanted to drag this feud out, it shouldn't have put the two factions into what should have been the ultimate way for ending the feud. AEW has shown its skill at surprising the fans, but it's going to take a big surprise, i.e. an even bigger match, to get any more mileage out of this feud. Number 2, Thunder Force Thud. The team of Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm sounds like a cross between a bad 90s TV show and an X-Men spin-off comic. Short of AEW starting a women's tag team division, there's no reason why Rosa and Storm should be teaming together. It makes even less sense that the AEW Women's Champion is wrestling tag matches. Now there was nothing downright ugly, as it was another enjoyable addition of Dynamite and a strong follow-up to Blood and Guts. Lots of storyline development with the Dark Order telling fans they're here to stay, and even a short but strong segment involving Miro calling out Malachi Black. Last night's show had one or two stumbles, but nothing significant, and Fyter Fest looks to be promising. What do you guys think of Dynamite this week? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Now first we looked at bad news for Bryan Danielson. Topping today's news is a scary story concerning Bryan Danielson, as Bryan, who's been out of action since his Anarchy in the Arena match at AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view, is no stranger to concussions, and the Wrestling Observer newsletter's Dave Meltzer recently expressed his concerns about Danielson's future. Meltzer discussed the situation on a recent Observer radio, saying, "I'm very concerned with Danielson obviously, because when you have the number of concussions he's had, and he's been out now for 5 weeks, you start worrying at 5 weeks of a concussion. This may be a really bad situation. I know in real life and everything like that he's fine, he can function, he can do everything, but as far as being cleared to wrestle, I don't know, no one knows. Getting cleared from a concussion can be any time. There's no time frame, but the fact that it's been this long is very concerning." Although Dave Meltzer isn't a doctor, or at least not as far as anyone knows, it's arguable that his experience observing MMA and pro wrestling gives him more than a layperson's knowledge of some sports-based injuries. Next up, the former WWE Superstars indie show is a complete disaster. As bad news for former WWE Superstars, the Authors of Pain, as their first show has been cancelled. Now working as Legion of Pain, Sunny Dinser and Jizem Salmani found the promotion Wrestling Entertainment Series and has scheduled its first show for the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham, England. The show was originally scheduled for 4th June but then moved to 9th July and featured a number of big names on the card. This included former superstars Braun Strowman, Lana and Nia Jax. The show seemed ambitious, particularly since the Motorpoint Arena seats 10,000. However, the promotion announced it was cancelling the event, tweeting a statement that the show had to be cancelled due to so many talent not showing up. They also stated that all talent that had been scheduled had been paid in full. However, several of the wrestlers who were originally involved took issue with the promotion's tweet. Chelsea Green tweeted, "Instead of blaming the talent who took weeks off to come work for your new company under the impression you could be trusted, try refunding the fans and apologizing for your lack of organization." Braun Strowman added, "Straight garbage to try and blame talent not showing up. I'm not a stooge, but the truth will come out. Y'all are good at finding it." Former superstar Aiden English didn't seem to buy the excuse, saying, "Talent not showing up? What a laugh." Fightful Select is reporting that their show was cancelled due to lousy ticket sales and mismanagement, and that Nia Jax was only paid half of what she was owed, while a number of wrestlers in the UK have yet to be paid. And finally, Bianca Belair warns off creepy fans. And last but not least, Bianca Belair is warning creepy fans to respect her and other WWE superstars' boundaries, pointing out at a recent incident that could have ended up badly. The current Raw Women's Champion recently spoke with Wrestling Inc.'s Nick Hausman about the sensitive subject. "We drove 20 minutes from the venue, sitting at a red light. A fan just ran up to the window, tapped on the window trying to take a picture. Scared the shit out of us. I love my fans, but do not follow me from the venue. Do not run up to my car window while I'm still sitting at the red light at 11 PM tapping on the window. It's not safe for me, it's not safe for you." During the chat, the EST explained that there is a time and place for everything, including autographs. "I mean, I love my fans, I love all the love and all the support that they give me. But when we are outside of the WWE wrestling space, or at nighttime especially, I know it might seem like it's fun, all in the name of fun, but there's boundaries, and I want you guys to be safe, and I want to be safe at the same time too." Now, anyone familiar with fandom, whether it's TV, sports or wrestling fandom, likely has a story of someone who didn't respect boundaries. While these fans are usually a fraction of the overall fan base, they can give fandom and fans a bad name. But there you have it folks, a look at this week's edition of Dynamite, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.